Good morning. We find ourselves at Wednesday of the 28th week in Ordinary Time. And as I began last Wednesday speaking about the Holy Rosary, given that this month of October is the month dedicated to the Holy Rosary, I thought today I would begin by just reviewing briefly the 5 joyful mysteries. One of the beautiful things about the Rosary is if we follow the mysteries, joyful, luminous, the luminous mysteries were added by Pope St. John Paul II, and then move to the sorrowful and the glorious mysteries, we cover very beautifully through the prayers of the Rosary the entire earthly life of Jesus. But let's look at the joyful mysteries. Of course, it begins with the Annunciation. And for many of the mysteries of the Rosary, we have in the Church's liturgical year a feast or a memorial that commemorates that specific mystery. And so the first joyful mystery is the Annunciation, that moment in the life of our Blessed Mother when the Archangel Gabriel appeared to her and announced to her the tremendous and mysteriously merciful news that she had been chosen because she is full of grace to be the Mother of God. And also there is a feast day, the Feast of the Annunciation, March 25th every year, commemorates that specific moment, and it is the revealed truth and part of the Church's doctrine that it was at this moment that the incarnation of God as man actually took place in the womb of the Blessed Virgin Mary. As soon as she assented in mind and heart, body and soul to the will of God, when she said in response to the Archangel's news, let it be done to me as you say. And then the second joyful mystery is the mystery of the Visitation, where our Blessed Mother, newly pregnant with Jesus, is told by the Archangel Gabriel that because nothing is impossible for God, her very elderly cousin Elizabeth, who had been barren, she and her husband Zechariah, for all of their married lives, had now conceived a child in her old age, as the angel told Mary, and she was in her 6th month. So the Visitation is our Blessed Lady, moved with great love and charity for St. Elizabeth, goes to her to assist her in the final months of her pregnancy with her son, St. John the Baptist. And then, of course, we come to the third joyful mystery, the birth of our Lord, or as it's called, the Nativity of the Lord. And of course, that's December 25th. That's a holy day of obligation, no matter what day of the week it falls on. And we certainly have that recorded in St. Luke's Gospel, in the Gospel of St. Matthew as well. Both of those evangelists give a good deal of space to recording the events of the birth of Christ. And then with the fourth joyful mystery, the presentation of the child Jesus in the temple, we find that St. Joseph and our Blessed Mother are very pious, very devout, very observant Jews, and so that was a requirement of the Mosaic law that the newborn son or child really would be presented after a certain number of days in the temple, and at that point they fulfilled the law, and then the mother would be purified from the birth of the child, and that too was part of the Mosaic law. And then finally, the fifth joyful mystery is a bit of both sadness and joy, because it's that mystery which is referred to as the finding of the child Jesus in the temple. And again, in the Gospel of St. Luke particularly, we find how this is described. Every year, our Blessed Mother and St. Joseph would take Jesus to Jerusalem for the observance of those holy days. And he was a young boy. It would have probably been around the time that Jesus would have celebrated his bar mitzvah. And that usually occurs when a young boy and a young girl would have what they called a bas mitzvah, but when they achieved about the age of 12. And so they went as was their custom each year. And we know the story and how Mary and Joseph thought they had lost Jesus, and for 3 days they search for him until they find him speaking to the elders and the doctors of the law in the temple. And I say it's a little mixture of sadness and joy, because the losing of Jesus for 3 days before finding him in the temple is one of the 7 sorrows of our Blessed Mother, which is a feast celebrated on September 15th of every year. But these 5 joyful mysteries really introduce us to Jesus through the eyes of our Blessed Mother in particular, but certainly St. Joseph, because he's very much a part of these 5 joyful mysteries and the beginning of the earthly life of Jesus. May God bless you, and may you enjoy these beautiful days of the month of October.